Hello everyone, this is part 25 of What If Naruto was exiled after he brought Sasuke back, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Itendigan looked at the dragon and wondered if he'd gone too far. The breath weapon was too much and his mechadisciple was weakening under the assault of lightning. It's never happened before, the Tomb Guardian thought as a spike-covered tail slammed into his ribs and sent him flying. With earth-shaking gait, Micah in dragon form with a running start took to the air. He caught Itendigan in the air and spinning about headed up into the atmosphere. Iten wailed away on the claw holding him, cursing its resistance to the chakra blade. The air was getting thinner as the dragon's wings carried him up into the clouds. What is he doing? How is he able? Of course, the memories passed on. Itendigan had a moment to finish his thought before Mikahamaru, the dragon of the wind, spun in the air faster and faster. And then to the shock of Iten, the dragon spoke. Seismic toss. Itendigan was released like a fastball and he hurled back towards the earth at a speed that came close to breaking the sound barrier. "You bastard!" The dragon roared and followed in a dive of its own, the wings pulled close to the body. Itendigan searched his memory for some way out of this. The ground was coming up fast. Hinata sprung up, her hands engulfed in hellfire as she slammed a strike into Sakura's chest, staggering her back. "You might have survived the penance stare this time, Sakura, but you will be judged, in this world or the next," the spirit-driven Hinata said, as she took up a very familiar stance. "You are in my field of divination. 8 trigrams, hellfire 60 four palms." Hinata's hands were a blur and Sakura screamed as not only was the Hyuga closing her chakra system down, she was leaving burns wherever she struck. Sakura launched a power kick that sent Hinata back, and Sakura down to one knee coughing up blood. She looked up in fear as Hinata stood once more. No, I can't here. I have important work to do," Sakura said, and she pulled out a trio of smoke bombs and after dropping them vanished. Before Hinata's Byakugan eyes could see through the chakra-blinding smoke. Hinata clenched her fist. "You can run, Hirano, but I will KO you." She turned and rushed back to the main battle area. It took Hinata a moment, but she found Nami's body. "Jark-sama, is there anything we can do?" "Alas child, no, her cords to this life have been cut. Her soul has moved on to the realm of the Shinigami." Hinata wept. She heard the roar and looked up to see a body plummeting towards the ground, and further above from the clouds came the dragon form of Mikahamaru. "If he changes back it will be a miracle." "What do you mean?" Hinata asked out loud. "His mate is and while the bond is new still, he is heartsick. This is a critical time for him. Should he be pushed, he could become a bigger threat than the Kyuubi ever had been, and not just to Konoha, but to the world, this one and the Underverse. We need to do something." "Naruto," Hinata said and stood, her eyes searching for the 9-tailed blonde. The battle between Naruto and Danzo had left the battlefield and they had ended up in a nearby store. The two men stood at opposite ends of a grocery aisle, their blades held before them. "The circle is now complete. I helped arrange the Kyuubi's attack on Konoha, thus paving the way for the death of the Yondaime. I killed that whore from Whirlpool who was your mother. I gave Orochimaru much of the defense layouts during the Chunin exam that led to the death of the Sandaime Hokage, and now it's down to you. You should have been given to me to raise, you would have been my greatest weapon." Naruto cracked his N. "I'm sorry, were you saying something?" He spun his mechadisciple. "Whatever it was, I hope it was worth the air you wasted, because you will here and now." Danzo laughed. "I was as strong as the Yondaime 16 years ago, boy. Orochimaru has restored me to that glory and given me powers you can only dream of." Naruto snorted. "You want power? Here, try this." Naruto with the Vunla powers levitated numerous cans up and they were hurled at Danzo at a velocity they all seemed to make the air whistle with their speed. "Don't like beans," Naruto taunted, watching as the man managed to avoid the canned projectiles, or them aside with his mechadisciple. "How about carrots? I hear the good for the eyes." More canned vegetables leapt from the shelf. Danzo avoided them. What worried him was that he had to activate his level 2 curse seal from Orochimaru to do so. Not much for vegetables. How about some fresh fruit? Naruto asked as the bins behind Danzo levitated over his head and upended the good atop him, burying him to his end. Danzo could not believe this. I will not be stopped by a brat like you, he said, and with an explosion of chakra knocked the pile of fruit away. No more games, boy. You will s here and now, like you should have all those years ago. We shall see, Naruto said, and they both lunged, rushing down the aisle at one another. Their mechadiscipline slammed together, the sound like thunder, as they parry and strike, neither one able to land a blow. Danzo sneers as he kicks Naruto's legs out from under him. He tries to swipe Naruto's head off, but the blonde kitsune rolls away and keeps rolling with every downward strike from Danzo, leaving scorch marks. Naruto with a tail swipe takes Danzo's legs out from under him, and both men on their backs continue to fight with their chakra blades. The movement's close range, barely moving of the wrists as they continue to fight and roll. Naruto brings his knee up and catches Danzo on the side of the head, but the former councilman shows why he was great during the last Great War as he chopped Naruto in the tea. Both of them skidding away on the ground away from one another. Danzo rolled to his feet, his blade pointing directly at Naruto, while he took up a stance with his left arm folded against his back. Naruto deactivated his blade, tossed it into the air, performed a kick-up and caught the hilt and reactivated it in a reverse grip. The pair charged once more, and spinning and weaving they continued their duel. The mechadiscipline were in constant motion. Naruto was amazed at how well the old warhorse was doing. I need to do something or this old fossil is going to kick my ass, Naruto thought, then mentally smacked himself as he used a Vunla wave to send Danzo flying through a wall and back out onto the street. Naruto got there and looked around. Where the hell did he go? XX. Itindigan hit the ground and created a small earthquake. The dust cloud rolled across the battlefield, making it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction. Itindigan, the immortal tomb guardian, groaned as he tried to move, and swore to several deities when he couldn't. He saw a huge shadow overhead and a glint of silver as the dust cleared. Magnificent. Micah reared back and at point-blank range blasted Itindigan with a lightning ball. The silver dragon seemed to sink upon itself as it stepped away from the smoldering crater. Hinata watched as the scales seemed to melt off the huge frame like water over rocks in a river. With each step the dragon shrunk, till all that remained was Micah, as he was before in shredded clothes. He sank to his knees. Hinata was there and caught him before he fell face first as his body was racked by sobs. She stroked his hair and whispered soothing words. She knew that if anything happened to Naruto, she would be in a similar state. For an eternity it seemed, he sobbed, heart-wrenching, till they slowed. His eyes became vacant. Makahamaru? Hinata asked hesitantly. He looked at her, his eyes showing nothing. Well, Luki, 2 for the price of 1. I want you to meet an experiment. Hinata turned and glared, her eyes seeping to black. Sakura had returned, but she wasn't alone. A figure that was as large as Itindigan was standing behind her. He was covered in spikes that looked like they had been surgically added, and the lines in the skin showed that it wasn't very long ago either. Whore. Meet one of my first experiments. Meat market. Meat market, the Kyuubi's whore. Bring mama her skull. The creature with white eyes leapt, and Hinata watched as bone spikes extended from its elbow as well as its nails. She didn't have time to react. XX. Orochimaru cursed. Damn you, Uchiha. Sasuke laughed, his tone hinting at madness. Worship me, Sannin, and I might allow you the scraps from my table. Sasuke was launching several fire jutsus. The Sannin were on the move with each attack. Does this kid ever tire? Jiraiya asked as he held his side where he'd been grazed by that chakra sword when he tried to get in close for an attack. Hardly. Orochimaru said, spitting a wad of blood after hitting the ground when Sasuke unleashed his lion's barrage. Tsunade scowled. I will not allow a spoiled child dictate how I live or s. Her hands were in motion and Sasuke with the Sharingan activated copied it, and his own hands started to blur into motion, but Tsunade slammed her hand into the ground. Earth style, quicksand. Sasuke sunk to his shoulders. Jiraiya now. Tsunade roared, and the Toad Sage who had been hiding behind Tsunade finished his own. Oh yeah. Ice style, frozen tundra. Sasuke found the ground he was on freeze. The cold was sapping his strength. You dare betray me, boy. Orochimaru appeared behind him, his hands were in motion, and Sasuke screamed as Orochimaru used the curse seal. Enjoy your gift, boy. Your mind will be wiped clean, but no fear, your body shall be my host after Sakura has made some modifications, of course. Sasuke screamed and screamed. No. Ikeda Tachi. I have the Mangekyo Sharingan. IAMUNBEATA. AAAAAAAAGGGGGGHHHHHH. Jiraiya and Tsunade watched as Orochimaru destroyed Sasuke. The kid brought it upon himself. Welcome to the big leagues, Uchiha. Tsunade thought, turning her head slightly. Jiraiya watched. He refused to turn away. His hand behind his back was forming an attack, and when he saw his moment as Orochimaru closed his eyes for the final push, he leapt into motion. 5 seals, Gaia's star. Eternal slumber. His attack slammed into Orochimaru, who vanished. Fool. Sasuke stopped screaming, and with a snap hiss the red blade of his stolen mechadiscipline exploded out of the ground, and freeing him. Another moment and he would have been finished. Orochimaru snapped. And give you a fresh body to jump to team. I don't think so. I will make sure this is your last body. And I'll make sure that this is your last moment. Sasuke leapt from the ground, his wild attacks missing, but Jiraiya was sure of one thing. If he lived past this, he swore he would spit on the grave of one Sasuke Uchiha if it was his last act. Tsunade was in motion attacking Orochimaru, while Jiraiya was pulling earth and mud jutsus out of thin air trying to slow down Sasuke and his blade. I need to get that away from him, before he KS me. The toad sage thought, avoiding a swipe. He smelt burning hair and saw several strands float away on a breeze. XX. Asuma skidded to a halt next to Guy. Oh. S. Guy. Cough. Cough. Asuma, my friend, it seems my fires of youth aren't enough. Stay still, Guy. We'll get you to Tsunade. She'll fix you up and you'll be running laps around Konoha before you know it. I am afraid that that will be one challenge I won't be able to take. Guy winced as another cough sent pain through his shattered spine. Asuma looked up to see the brute that did this was moving towards the city. He's after Lee. Why? Asuma, my friend, he took everything we had. Asuma adjusted the bandana with the leaf symbol. Now we'll see what I have. The chain-smoking Jonin said. Drawing his trench knives, he took off with a leaf shushin, reappearing before Buster. You shall go no further. Buster gave a rumbling chuckle. You think you can stop me, little man? Don't think it, I know it. Asuma said, adding chakra to his trench knives. Asuma Sarutobi, Jonin, leader of Squad 10, son of the Sandaime Hokage, you shall not pass. Asuma, with his ability to manipulate wind, crossed the blades of his knives. Double cut. The X formation of chakra wind slammed into Buster, leaving long cuts on his chest. The brute yowled in pain. Want some, big man? Come get some. Asuma said, and a new dance of death began. XX. Kiba with a Kamaru was moving across the battlefield. He'd found Itachi's body and was shocked the Uchiha was barely alive. Slapping an emergency stasis seal on him, he'd loaded him up and rode hard to the hospital. Shizune had been under pressure, doing as much as possible. Kiba was sad to see Iruka and Lee there already. Choji was heading back to the battle when Shizune stopped Kiba. Kiba, have you seen Lady Tsunade? The brunette asked. Her and Jiraiya are outside the walls fighting with Orochimaru last I saw, but reports I heard is that Sasuke is out there as well. Shizune cringed seeing the smoldering body of Kankuro being carried in. It's not going well, is it? Kiba smirked. For every one of ours they send here, we send 20 to the morgue. Shizune shook her head. Not good odds. Get your mother and the other riders out there. Kiba wanted to ask her if she needed help, but he knew he was useless here. Back on the battlefield, he raced across, kunai in one hand and the lance in the other. He and Akamaru racked up some serious numbers on their way through. Come on, where are you? Kiba had delivered his message to his mother, and then took off. Find Naruto and you'll find Hinata, where are you? Anko was having a blast. Look at all the little piggies, she purred as she ate another sound Nin's tea. The Anbu had cleared out the northern sector and were now making their way down the line. Abiki had taken a crew to refortify the avenues to the hospital, and she was now scattering the others around to support the weakened areas. She was now on the wall when she saw the one person she was really looking for. Oh, Mama Piggy is so going to the house. She muttered and leapt, vanishing with a leaf shushan, her gaze never leaving the Sannin battle. The Sannin battle was getting insane. Jiraiya was able to avoid Sasuke's mad swings with his stolen chakra blade. Who knew avoiding pissed off Kunoichi or more to the point pissed off Sunids would be excellent life-saving training for this moment. The Toad Sage thought as he bent backwards avoiding a swipe, then he kicked Sasuke in the chest hard and sent the last Uchiha rocketing into a tree. Sasuke dropped the stolen Mechadiscipen, and Jiraiya's hands were in motion. A purple and yellow toad appeared. Get that weapon and get rid of it, he ordered as he was already charging, a Rasengan in his hand. Sasuke, stunned for a moment, looked up to see the oncoming Sannin and what was in his hand. So that's where the Dobe learned it from. He ducked at the last second and the tree was obliterated. Jiraiya leapt into the air avoiding a leg sweep and he tried for a knee strike, but Sasuke blocked it with a forearm, and tried to punch Jiraiya, but the older nin was quicker and flipped over Sasuke, and grabbing a handful of his outfit flipped him into another tree, leaving a human-sized crater in it. Across the way Tsunade and Orochimaru were continuing their own fight. The Snake Sannin barely was able to avoid the Slug Princess's powerhouse blows that left craters where she missed or destroyed trees. Keeping him on the defensive was tiring, but Tsunade knew she couldn't give him an opening. Orochimaru was quick and he managed to finish a series of seals. Earth-style, rock shower, he said, and the ground around them fell up and Tsunade was on the defensive, sing rocks the size of her head as they tried to pulverize her. You can't win, Heim. I've planned the destruction of the leaf for over a decade. You can't stop me, so why do you keep trying? The Snake Sannin taunted. His answer never came as he was kicked hard from behind, breaking his concentration on the jutsu. When he stopped skidding he rolled to his knees and his eyes widened seeing his former apprentice there. Anko. He said her name softly. This is getting worse. I can't fight both of them at the same time. Orochimaru thought. Behind him he could hear Sasuke and Jiraiya mixing it up. He didn't hear that chakra sword and wondered what happened. He got his answer moments later seeing a purple toad leaping past carrying the deactivated blade. Get back here with that, he said and sent his tongue out. Tsunade was there and batted it away. Anko was there as well and launched a trio of kunai and Orochimaru was in motion. His attempt to get the weapon back failed and he was in even more danger than when Sasuke thought he'd be able to K3 Sannin at once. Kiba looked at Sakura with disgust. He'd never cared for the pink-haired obnoxious bee. He glared at the thing she'd appeared with. Eeyuck. Get it, Akamaru, he said as he leapt from his partner's back going right after Sakura, while Akamaru with a howl dove atop the thing that Sakura identified as Meat Market and the two went rolling away snarling and snapping. Or, isn't it little Kiba? Sakura purred as she looked from Hinata to the Inuzuka. How does it feel to come in second to the last again, Kiba? Sakura taunted as she dodged his wild attacks. He beat you in the Chunin exams several years ago, and he beat you to getting in that Hyuga Hawes pants. Kiba snarled and his ferocity increased. You can't win, mongrel, Sakura taunted. You aren't in my league. I am one of Lord Orochimaru's greatest successes. She spun and with a palm strike knocked him hard into a building. She turned and watched as Meat Market sunk his elbow bone blades into Akamaru hard. The dog howled in pain before being kicked to the side by her mindless creation. That's a good boy, Meat Market. Now, she turned and looked for Hinata and the boy that had been around Naruto and found them gone. Now where did you go? Asuma kicked and slashed at the big marauder. While his kicks had no effect, the chakra-enhanced trench knives were leaving their mark. So, Asuma panted. You can take physical damage from punches and kicks, but anything that can cut or you feel just like anyone else. Straightening up he went on the attack again, this time not kicking, but allowing his trench knives to take pieces of the powerhouse marauder. Asuma was tiring, but any time he thought about it, he glanced at where Guy was, his strange friend, and he would feel revitalized. I owe this thing for what it did to Guy. I won't let it leave here alive. Asuma swore as he SD more F from Buster's arms which were red from all the wounds. Just a bit more, Asuma thought as he ducked a wild swing. There, he thought as he came up and buried one knife in Buster's chest. The big marauder snarled and roared in his face. Shut up, Asuma yelled as he rammed the other trench knife straight up under Buster's jaw and into his brain. Asuma said as he watched the mountain of muscle collapse with his trench knives buried in him. Sighing, Asuma pulled out a cigarette, lit it with a burst of chakra and sighed as he took a deep drag. Ah, that's the stuff. XX. Naruto looked for Danzo and was just moving past a building when his vulnerable danger sense went nuts and he leapt back in time to avoid the attack from above. Danzo landed and leapt at him, the mechadisciple humming as he swiped wildly trying to cut into Naruto. Naruto kept dodging backwards, he used his own blade to block some of the attacks and he avoided others. He saw Danzo was sweating and he knew he would outlast the traitorous councilman. How's breathing, old timer? Naruto taunted as he dodged a wild swipe from the left, he hooked his own blade under it, spun it up and sent it flying out of Danzo's hand. Naruto's spin continued and he kicked Danzo as hard as he could. The old warhorse hit the side of building and left a crater as he slumped to the ground. Naruto used the Vunla to summon Danzo's blade and with a snap hiss he activated it and crossed it with his blade. He held them over Danzo's N. How much of the F-ups in my life lead back to you, I wonder? How many times did you pull the strings, incite the populace to K me? Incite store owners to overcharge or deny me? N Naruto, wait. Why? You ked my mother, and for that alone I will end you. NA was as far as Danzo got before Naruto used the mechadisciple and separated the former councilman's head from his body. Naruto spat on the headless corpse. See you in hell, you bastard. I'll send Sasuke and Orochimaru to keep you company. Using his mechadisciple he SD Danzo's blades hilt, destroying it. He tossed the remains aside and looked back towards the main gates where the battle was still raging. His Vunla senses were screaming at him to find Hinata. With a powerful leap he was atop the buildings and racing back the way he'd come from. XX. Jiraiya avoided the series of fireballs the Uchiha spat at him. Damn kid's fast. The Toad Sage thought as he used earth attacks to box in the kid who was quick. He's using that curse seal like it's nothing, no alternate effects. Sasuke yelled as he sent a barrage of kunai at Jiraiya. The older man laughed as he used a wind jutsu to send them back. I'm out of your league, brat. You're not even in Naruto's. The madness in Sasuke's eyes seemed to blaze hotter. The Dobe, better than me. I'll K him. Before Jiraiya could react, Sasuke had leapt away, he was heading back to Konoha. Suin's going to K me. Jiraiya muttered, but he heard an explosion and turned to see Orochimaru rolling away, his whole body smoldering. Anko was there, her coat was nothing more than rags and she was laughing madly. Come back here, you surly confused bastard. Anko roared as she sent several kunai at the smoldering snake Sannin, who rolled and did a handspring back to his feet. He sent out his shadow snake hands at the same time Anko did and they impacted. Sadly Orochimaru forgot about Tsunade, who came over the top of Anko. Orochimaru's last conscious words were, "Oh, s," as Tsunade's fist connected with his head and sent him flying into the woods. XX. Hinata held Micah, he seemed catatonic and she couldn't leave him behind for Sakura to K. He was surprisingly light and she slipped from the rooftop several buildings over, leaning him against the wall. His draconian eyes seemed dull and lifeless. Hinata, the vessel of the spirit of vengeance, spun, a kunai in her hand. Ino, the blonde Yamanaka, looked exhausted, and sported several scratches all over. What happened to him? Ino asked. Too much. Nami, the girl that was with him, was his mate. She was ked by Sakura. Forehead. No, she couldn't. Ino said in shock. She did. What happened to you? Hinata asked, checking over the Yamanaka, who sported several wounds. I got separated from Shikamaru and the others in that moving battle with those things that called themselves the Marauders. Ino winced as she rested against the wall. It's broken down to a tie all around. I used most of my chakra to stop that thing called Wraith. Hinata's green glowing hand moved over the worst of Ino's wounds. Here, it's one of Tsunade's special blood soldier pills. Ino took it and made a face after chewing it. Gah, they still taste like chalk, she said. Hinata sighed. I need you to watch over Micah here. I must return to battle and stop Sakura and her monster from King Kiba and Akamaru. What? Sakura betrayed us all. Orochimaru gave her powers. She is not the same girl that lived in Konoha. Before Ino could say something, they heard a voice from above. Or, you're talking about me with Ino, pig. I should feel all warm inside that the two biggest losers from our class besides Naruto can take time to speak about me. Ino looked at the end of the alley and nearly lost her lunch seeing the creature coming towards them with Kiba and Akamaru slung over its shoulders like sacks of grain. Ah, meat market. How do you like my first creation Ino pig? Granted he's missing most if not all of his epidermal layer of skin, but I've made him a mindless weapon and he's loyal to me, like you and the rest of the trash in Konoha never were. Whatever lets you sleep at night Sakura. I hope the cold nights that you spend with that thing make up for betraying everyone. You all betrayed me first. Sakura roared and leapt down. Sakura sneered, and I think I'll use your body with that purple-haired archer I ked earlier and make meat market here a mate. The wave of king intent washed over the alley and Hinata turned to see Mika standing, his eyes blazing with power. Meat market, K the Dobe. Sakura said as she once more got drawn into combat against Hinata. XX. I'll use your body with that purple-haired archer I ked earlier, mate. Mika's world snapped into focus with those words and he felt his rage boil. He saw the creature standing there and he saw a threat. His power over the wind swirled around him and a hurricane force slammed into the piecework creature and tore it out of the alley with Mika giving chase. Rage. It was all he knew at this moment. Hinata was surprised as Sakura seemed stronger than before, and was avoiding her Juken strikes. Ino, go, help Mika. She said as her eyes bled to black. Ino nodded and tried to get past the fighting pair, but Sakura put herself between Ino and the alley opening. And where are you going Ino pig? Sakura asked. Ino didn't hesitate to answer the usual taunt. She reared back and headbutted Sakura hard, a loud crack and the pink-haired Kunoichi staggered back. Ino slipped back and gave her the finger. I'm going to help a friend. You know, something you used to be. Sakura snarled as she straightened her nose. Before she could do anything, she was once again forced to dodge Hinata's Juken strikes, 3 of them grazed her arm and it went numb from shoulder to fingertip. XX. The remaining marauders were in retreat, they lost too many of their numbers, and the Konoha Nin were supported by the oncoming support of the Inuzuka clan on the dogs. Shikamaru sighed as he slumped next to his sensei. You look like hell Shika. Asuma said as he puffed on his cigarette. Shikamaru sighed, took the cigarette and took a long deep drag. This was too troublesome, he muttered after exhaling. Asuma nodded, his body ached like never before from fighting the marauders, and the sounds of battle in the distance indicated that the majority of the fighting was still going on. Man, I wish Kakashi and Guy were here. The chain-smoking Jonin thought as he got to his feet. Find the others and get them back to the wall. This is far from over. He told Shikamaru, who looked at him and sighed. And put that cigarette out before you find Ino or Kurenai, or they will make my day hell. Shikamaru nodded. He knew Choji had taken to remove the wounded, Shino he hadn't seen, but he figured the Ambarain was doing his assigned tasks. The Inuzuka dog riders showed up in time. He thought taking a last pull of the cancer stick and dropping it to the ground and stepping it out. Lee and Guy were transported to the hospital, Kurenai headed towards the wall earlier, Kankuro was evacuated, I hope he's okay, those burns look to be a major drag. He scanned the battlefield and saw Gaara looking the at-woman Crystal who had fought him off until the Inuzuka dog riders arrived. Shikamaru walked towards where Gaara was standing. Kazekage, he said getting closer. Where is my sister Mumbler? Gaara asked not looking up from the crystallized sand a moment before using some fresh sand in his gourd crushed it down returned it to sand and absorbed it back to his gourd. Shikamaru knew his girlfriend was fine. She's too damn tough to fall here. He thought. He found her sitting against a wall with Tenten and Neji, all 3 looked the worse for wear. Found her. The sand and shadow users made their way over. Temari looked up and gave them a soft smile. Hey slacker, Neji said. You look like you've been through hell. Shikamaru said. The water and fire users got away. Tenten said. Neji went back to wrapping her burns. You should go to the hospital. I'm not leaving you out here alone Neji-kun. The weapons mistress said, wincing as he pulled the bandage tighter. They are a force to watch out for. Temari agreed as Shikamaru slumped next to her. Gaara's gaze was looking off to the distance. Brother, Uzumaki and Melwasu are in trouble, something doesn't feel right. Shikamaru sighed. We can't go looking for them. Asuma's ordered us back to the wall if we're able. They all sighed at that. An Inuzuka approached. Hana, Neji said. Have any of you seen Kiba and Akamaru? She asked stroking her dog Zen. All of them shook their heads. The Chunin sighed. Damn it, I just know he's done something stupid and reckless, and mom's going to take a switch to my ass if that idiot got himself ked, or worse neutered. She rode off, leaving the group wondering if all the Inuzukas were insane. You know Hinata is where Naruto is, or close by. Neji said. And knowing Kiba, he went in search of her. Shikamaru said. Now we need to find that obnoxious blonde you call a teammate. Temari said, giving him a nudge. Troublesome. X. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.